Welcome back to the Sexton Wolfpack. This week's episode is sponsored by Amber Bath Bathing Essentials. I'm holding the Salvation right now in my hand, and if you're watching it on our YouTube channel, you'll be able to see that it's almost empty because I use it constantly. It's literally 4 ingredients: beeswax, cocoa butter, vitamin E, and olive oil, and Camille and I cannot live without it. Hands, lips, heels. So if you want to get your very own, head to amberbath.com and use code WOLFPACK for 20% off your whole order. Enjoy.
Welcome back to the Sexton Podcast. You are here with your hosts, She-Wolf Lauren and Camille Joanne XO.
Whoa.
Hey. This week,
Hey.
I'm just really excited about this topic because, boy, have I been feeling it lately.
That's right.
This episode, as you can see from the episode title, is all about what if I never find love again?
What if I never find love again? Dating in your late 20s,
Oh my
keeping yourself
God.
open after heartbreak. We're going in today. We're talking about it all.
We're going in. Why did we spark this episode topic today, Lauren?
Man. Well, I was wanting to do an episode about keeping your heart open, but obviously I want to give you some tangibles rather than just being like, surrender to the world around you, which is how I do it, but you need some beginning steps.
Yes.
And so
This
morning, for whatever reason, we were doing the Napoleon Dynamite. Some say love, it is a river. Okay, and so we were doing that, you know, like when Napoleon, whatever. And we played the song. First of all, I had no idea that Bette Midler sings it. Okay, so that made me really happy. And second of all, we listened to the lyrics, and I'm just going to go ahead and read them to you now, because this is our
it's
inspiration.
the most heartbreaking song in the world.
This is our inspiration for this episode.
Yeah.
Okay. To the tune of the song. You can do it in your head. I'm not going to sing the whole thing. Okay. It says, it's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give. And the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live.
Okay.
I'm
sorry. I can barely handle it. Why does it bring tears to my eyes?
This song is called The Rose by Bette Midler. So go ahead and listen to that. Pause our episode and go listen so you can cry with us. But it's just so beautiful and it's so inspiring because those are words that I live by and I never knew they were in a song.
I love songs about heartbreak so much. I always tell people I have like 3 genres of songs I like to listen to. Dance music if I'm out at a party, 80s rock music most of the time, or songs that make me want to cry.
Yes. You love that.
I love songs that make me feel heartbroken.
Oh, I remember one time walking in on you in the shower and you were listening to the saddest songs and I just immediately started crying. I was like, Camille, oh my gosh.
It was also when I was first going through my heartbreak.
Yes, it was so beautiful though. I felt like I walked in on such a vulnerable and beautiful moment.
Thank you.
Aww.
I do like to cry during songs. Anyway, that song made us want to talk about heartbreak today, really.
Yeah. And we're going to focus on relational heartbreak, but just with the open understanding that heartbreak isn't only felt relationally, like with romantic partners. It can also be in friendships. It can be in different stages of love, like breaking up when you're the one who breaks it off, breaking up when they're the one who breaks it off, breaking
Infidelity.
up, infidelity, but you don't break up. When friend groups part ways or you end a friendship is so heartbreaking. When your
Even
pets die.
Yeah, when your pets die.
All of it.
Man, life is full of heartbreak.
It really is. It's so let's do the thing where we do our weekly update, because then it kind of, we can jump into this. I feel like if I start talking about it, I won't be able to stop.
Okay, me too. Our weekly update. Our family was in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our daddy was here.
Yeah, our dad. Our dad and our stepmom were here.
Yes.
And they were here for basically 4 days of jam-packed fun.
It was the most fun.
We did the best beach day. We did the
Gosh.
best. We took my dad free diving.
That was a huge highlight.
It was a highlight watching Dad in the water.
I know.
If you didn't listen to last week's episode, our dad is a Navy SEAL, was a Navy SEAL. And so I actually have never really seen Dad do a water sport, but that was his career. He was so good at it. So good at the swimming and the
Yeah. We had a couple opportunities over the past couple of years to watch our dad do athletics. And for whatever reason, both of those opportunities, like we were going to run a marathon with him, and then he had to get a little surgery and couldn't run it with us. And then we were going to go watch him do this frogman swim, and he trained so hard for it. He was going to the YMCA, swimming like 3 times a week, really doing his thing. Everybody flew in. He had to raise money for it, blah, blah, blah. And then we got there, and those motherfuckers canceled the frogman swim due to potentially turbulent weather. The next day, the weather was beautiful. Nothing even happened, but it was very heartbreaking.
That was a heartbreak.
That was a heartbreak.
Be able to swim.
I literally cried.
Oh, yeah.
Because I knew how hard he trained.
Yeah, of course.
It broke his heart, too. He said he is traumatized from
training so hard and not being able to compete. So watching our dad, he made it to 20 meters, of course, first day. 21 meters. Yeah, it was like, that's like 60 plus feet.
It's 68 point something.
Yeah. So, of course, he did absolutely phenomenally. And we got to share with him an activity that we're both really falling in love with. So that was so fun. And then we just had a day of relaxation. It's fun when you live in a place where people want to visit, but when you're living here, you know, we're like focused on work. We're still working and living our lives, going grocery shopping. It's like our life is here.
Right.
But when family and friends come into town, we really get to show them the best of Tulum.
Yeah.
So it was just really exciting.
Yeah, and we basically had a whole month of that because I mean, man, it has been a month. Camille and I are both just absolutely run down to the bones. We are skinny. We haven't been to the gym in a month.
Can barely eat. I think I have a parasite.
Yeah. We are sort of on this, like, it's going to take 3 months for our bodies to acclimate.
I'm having a tough time, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like every day I wake up thinking, how will I feel today?
Yeah. Me too. Oh, and when we went freediving, I had some type of ear blowout early in the day where something is horribly wrong with my ear, with my lefty.
Yeah.
And so I can't hear out of that ear, and it also is giving me a headache. And we're just sort of a mess right now.
Physically, I'm a mess. Emotionally, can't tell yet.
Can't tell yet. Physically, I'm a mess. Emotionally, I feel really pretty good.
Okay.
But I'm also coming off of an addiction. I became addicted to cacao. You heard me right. Cacao.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last episode, but Lauren is addicted to cacao.
I think I am, yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy to give it up.
God.
I gave up coffee. I stopped doing matcha. It's just been a year of like giving up things for me.
Oh, coffee doesn't even entice me at all anymore.
No, I can't believe. So also for our first time listeners, I used to be an engineer and I would be drinking just copious amounts of coffee in my little cubicle all day as a mechanical engineer, like designing water treatment systems.
Whoa.
And to think now that I even have a sip of coffee and I'm like having a panic attack because it's not energetically sitting well in my body.
Yes.
I need to like take the day off of doing some content work.
Yeah. No, but I really do feel like
so
when
funny.
you start to pay attention to your body and really treat it like a temple, it's pretty obvious what doesn't feel good and what does. Like, even if you're eating foods that don't feel well, like I was really vegan I didn't eat meat from the time I was 14 until I was 29. 14 to 29, I didn't eat any land animals or really cheese. And then from the time I was like 21 to 29, I was vegan.
Yeah.
So it was a really long time, or 22 to 29, 7 years. So when I started going through all of this stuff, I actually started eating animal products again because my body, was like very clearly just telling me that things were not right. My
Yeah.
digestion wasn't right, you know, all of these things. And so as hard as that was for me ethically, because I was always vegan for the animals, like that's an example of my body just telling me, hey girl, minimal ingredients here.
Can't do
Like
this
just
anymore.
can't do it anymore. Do you want to be so bloated with gas for your whole life? You have to try something else.
That's what I'm feeling like right now.
Yeah.
Every time I eat something, I want to yak.
Yeah, you got a little something. You never know here. Honestly, in Mexico, it's just one of the things.
I know.
It could just be that you brushed your teeth and accidentally swallowed a little and the water got right into your gut.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, I'm having a cramp now. We can still keep going.
Okay. Well, okay.
So that's our weekly update.
Yeah.
So much family. Now, my bestie's coming to see me when this episode launched. She will have already come and gone.
Come and gone.
Yeah, a quick visit with her, which is so fun. Then I'm moving to a different city for a little bit.
Yeah.
And
just for a little
it's
bit.
been a month. I am just going to sleep so hard. I think all of November, maybe.
Geez, I know. I have nothing planned in November. And I can't tell you how good that feels.
I know.
Just to kind of, I knew that October was going to be slam-mode. And then, you know, you just have months like that.
I really give it up to the people who have company all the time.
And just to people in general who host a lot and do a lot. I am not good at it really, turns out.
No.
Like, I completely just give up work. I haven't posted on social media for 2 weeks. Like, I just forget. It's like, whoops, nope, I can only do so much.
Yeah,
so
I'll be on a roll and then just
goodbye.
Yeah. So here we are.
Still
Still sticking to the podcast, though.
Yeah, we love it so much.
Yeah. And if you guys are interested in more exclusive content, we are now live on Patreon, where we post bonus Q&As. We do live streaming stuff. We post stuff from our childhood, just getting closer with your den mothers. You can go to patreon.com/thesexden for more today.
And what's really exciting is that this November 1st, we pick our next winner for our raffle for
winner.
2-on-1 raffle winner. So
that's right. Once a month, we do a random hat draw out of all our Patreons to choose a person to do a 1-hour session with the two of us. And you can come talk to us about an issue you're going through, a decision you're trying to make, just a Q&A, just getting to know us more. It's so fun.
We could have just tea together and talk if you don't want to do any of the above.
Yeah, a little happy hour. So if you want to enter that raffle, do not forget to sign up before November 1st.
That's right.
Yay.
Okay, Camille, tell us what's going on with you these days.
Well, if you follow me on social media, which on Instagram, by the way, I am Camille Joanne XO. Lauren is She Wolf Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
Our combined page is the Dead Mothers.
That's right.
But if you follow me, I announced a couple months ago that I am going through a divorce.
The big D word.
The big D. Yeah. We did an episode on it as our first episode of season 3. And I have essentially been going through this. The separation started at the beginning of May. And then sort of the final decision was the end of June. So it's been 5 or 6 months now.
Jeez.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's
May,
really
June,
weird.
July, August, September, October. It has been 6 months.
God.
I know. So I am going through a series of heartbreaks.
Right. It just kind of happens and happens and happens.
It happens and happens. I will be feeling totally fine some days, then completely not fine other days. I think I went through periods of, it's funny, it's like a grieving process, actually. You're kind of in denial, and then it's, you know, anger, and then you think you're over it, and then just, I don't know, all the sadness. It's just a range of different emotions. And what I want to start with in this episode is just letting people know that there is no time frame for heartbreak. And I have just, there were parts of me while I was going through this in the like beginning months that was like, I'm ready to date already, because I kind of was going through the breakup during the relationship. You
Mhm.
know, you never just, at least in I wasn't just, it didn't just end,
Right.
right? We had tried a lot of stuff to try and make it work. So I was thinking, oh, I'll just start on a dating app or whatever, you know, and get into a dating app. And then just when I would get on the dating apps, it would just feel wrong in my heart.
Mm.
And so I would just delete them, you know, and this has happened a couple times, but I just realized I needed to take off this expectation of myself to have a time frame of when I'm ready to find love again, because
Yeah.
ultimately I really do believe in love. Like
Yeah.
I love so much, and I'm just giving myself the permission, and I want to give every listener the permission to just do what feels good for you. Like, I'm 27. This happens to people when they're in their 30s. This happens, you know, at all ages. And no matter what, we have to feel through anything that's going to arise from this situation.
Mhm.
So I'm just taking the time to process and knowing that one day I'll find love again.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember so well when I was going through a breakup when I was 27 too. Um
Hmm.
and at the same time as you, like April when I was 27.
Which is so weird because mine was May at 27.
Yeah.
Of course.
And mine was a huge breakup too. We weren't married, but so much
Mhm, intertwined.
debt together and just so much stuff. It was so scary.
Step kid, it is
Yeah.
really
It
scary.
was, yeah, it felt scary. Like, what the hell? You just shake up your whole identity. And I remember I wrote a whole blog about this topic pretty much, just dating in your late 20s from my perspective, because I was in such a weird place where I didn't necessarily feel heartbroken, but I had so much healing to do that I didn't even know about yet. Like, I
Mm,
had no idea, but I just knew that my body was kind of going haywire, and what I was wanting was like deep beautiful love, but what I was also wanting was wild one night stand sex at the time. Like that's what I was calling in. And so I just remember writing a blog post like, this is hard dating in my later 20s because I'm wanting to have this fun and kind of some chaos, and also I'm just, aware of the clock. Like I'm aware of what's going to happen. I'm going to maybe date somebody for 2 or 3 years, get engaged, then have kids a couple years later. And I was doing the math like, okay, then I'm going to be 32 or 33 having my first kid. And the crazy thing is that when I wrote that blog post, I had already met Shane. Like I was
yeah.
already getting to know him just as my friend. And
Yeah.
then we ended up being engaged that year that I wrote that blog post. So it's
Yeah.
just crazy how you never know.
It's so funny. You never know.
Mhm.
I was just having this moment kind of last night where I was envisioning my life in movie format.
Mhm. It's
And
so
it was
fun.
like, yeah, I was like, man, this has been a really wild 6 months for me. And this is the part where people in my movie are crying for me.
Mhm.
You know, like this is a really heartbreaking section.
Mhm.
And it's okay for me to feel into that. And
Mhm.
I've been going through this space where I'm recognizing it's okay in heartbreak to feel super relieved and happier than you've ever been, and also really miss the person, really feel sad about the relationship ending. Like you can have both.
Mhm.
There's no scale of like, okay, I was really sad a couple months ago, so I don't have sadness anymore. You know, I got
Right.
over the sadness. It's like,
Right.
no, it's okay that sadness all of a sudden is coming up in me again, you know,
Yeah.
and just feeling through that process. So,
Yeah, I think that's really healthy because I
mhm,
think a lot of times, like, getting over it is kind of the status quo. It's like,
totally.
okay, get over it. Like, he did this to you, or, you guys had this conversation, or he said that, or whatever. So, oh my God, just get over it. And we have a lot of pressure. And I think we do that with a lot of things in our culture. Like, people have a baby, and it's like, okay, well, your maternity leave is over, so just get over that part of it, get over X or
Totally.
Y, or, okay, that person passed away, uh,
Yeah.
let's get over it. Like, we v place a lot of value on how fast we can recover from things,
Totally.
and I don't think that when you're living consciously or when you're living in accordance with how your body feels, that, like you said, there really isn't like a timestamp for that. It's not like, okay, over that, punched. It just sort of one day you
Yeah.
realize, oh, wow, I haven't thought about that person in 2 weeks, or, oh, I haven't thought about it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's so true.
So,
It's okay to just keep living your life. I All of a sudden I was just having this other thought about something that dad said to me, because I was going through a space where I was going to move to a different location, and I like don't really have a plan for the first time. Like when you're married, you have to worry about somebody else.
hmm,
Even when you're in a long-term relationship, like you're planning where you're living, you're planning like, okay, we're probably going to get engaged around here. When you're like freshly out of heartbreak or going through a heartbreak, it's kind of the one time when you're like, holy shit, what is going to happen?
right.
Because if you're feeling heartbreak, that means you felt love.
hmm,
So if you felt that, you can feel it again, and you
hmm,
most likely want to,
yeah,
right? That's what we're going to talk about today, wanting to feel that love again, or at least part of what we'll mention, I'm sure. But I I just didn't have a plan, and I'm like talking to my dad, and he's like, "Well, where do you want to live, kid?" I'm like, "I don't know. Like right now this feels really good." Um and I'm thinking like, where can I meet also men, Like I am going to start dating eventually, and I remember my dad just saying like, you just plan your life how you want, and when someone comes up, it'll be in the exact right place and you can worry about it then.
totally.
Just like you have this time to just focus on yourself and you get to pick your plan,
Yeah.
not worried about anybody else. And I was
hmm
like, wow, that it
It's
is
exciting.
exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting and it's scary, but I also just am like leaning into the trust of, yeah, I can go travel and like do all this fun shit by myself. And whoever my next soulmate is supposed to be, my partner, will just fall into that space wherever I end up. I don't
Yeah.
have to go actively searching for like, where can I move that I'm going to meet a man?
Right.
you
I
know,
mean, yes, within reason, right? Like if you
within
don't want to be
reason.
moving to like rural Vermont, like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. I mean, but you
But
can.
honestly, that happens.
Yeah,
Like,
it
I think
does.
about it I think about our life now in terms of in styles of movies, right?
Totally.
And
Yeah.
I just think about these movies where the women, like, go through a breakup and they, like, move to a far out city to, like, be on the Western Front or whatever, and then they
Totally.
meet Cowboy Joe working at the construction shop.
Oh my
It's like
god.
it really and that could really be somebody's life. Like, movies to me seem
Dang.
real. So, any anything is possible. I just feel like focusing on yourself through the heartbreak is will lead you to all the right places.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
just
even
trusting
if it
that.
feels like it's taking a long time, like I just think about between the time of my last heartbreak, and
Mm,
I'm just using my own example here because
yeah.
it's my fucking podcast, because
Yeah.
it's
It's ours.
it's
Yeah.
our podcast. But so this is not the standard or anything like that. But it's like, I broke up with my ex in April, and I didn't fall in love with Shane until the next, like, August. So it was like a year
A
and
half. Yeah,
a
basically.
half, basically, or a year and
Mhm.
4 months until that I felt that. And during that time is when I started to kind of freak out a little bit, because I'm like, "Okay, whoa, what's happening?" And I just remember Shane saying, I was like, "I wanna get out of San Diego, but I just feel kind of scared because it's such a great city and there are so many people here and all of that." He's like,
Yeah.
"Just put your 30 days in and go somewhere else." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do it." And I remember him saying, like, "I'm gonna," and this is when we were just friends, I remember him just saying, "I'm gonna be so sad that you won't be here, but I'll come see you?" And I was like, "Okay, that sounds good." And I
Yeah.
sold all my stuff, put it in mom's, backyard in storage, and then went to Tulum completely by myself, left Momo with you and was like,
A
"We'll
year
just see."
after, like, you had been single for over a
Yes.
year.
Yeah, and I was just like, "I'm gonna go and just kind of see how it goes," and that trip completely changed my life. I had no idea that that was gonna happen, but it was, like, the craziest month of my life
I know.
when I moved, you know? So it's just you never know, and that's coming back to what we say on our most recent episodes repetitively is just how present can you be in exactly the moment? Because if you're always pushing for, well, what about this? What about that? This is what I want. How am I going to set myself up so that I can have what I want?
Mhm.
If you're constantly doing that, you're not present. And then that love that you're wanting, you're not open to it because you're searching
Yeah,
for what's next.
you are.
Yeah.
My favorite, and especially in heartbreak in this, like, realm of dating, I really believe in this statement wholeheartedly. I've said it on so many of the recent episodes, but what is meant for you will not pass you by.
Yeah.
Whenever like, I've had this moment of, like, downloading the dating apps and then I delete them and I'm like, well, what if my boyfriend's on there? He won't be.
Right.
If I'm deleting it because that's what feels good, I'm not missing him.
Right.
If he's there, he's going to be on there when I download them the next time.
Right.
You know, I just like to think that. Like, I have this person that I've written that I know exactly what I'm looking for. And I trust that when he comes into my life, it will be great.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I can understand how difficult this is.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really, I mean, heartbreak can throw you for an absolute loop.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Camille and I were cracking up at the beginning, like before we hit record on this episode, because we're like, imagine that your heart is in a blender and the lid is off
And it
and
has nails in
it has
there.
nails in there and you turn it on, the underbelly of your cabinets is a
It's
disaster.
covered. Your kitchen is covered. You're covered. You're standing
You're
there.
covered by the own guts of your heart.
You're shocked,
You're shocked.
thinking, will I ever recover again?
Yes. It's staying open throughout an experience like that.
Yeah. Keeping your heart open.
Yes.
If you've experienced heartbreak like that.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yes. And
It is.
it's such a vulnerable time. It's such a
Oh,
creative time.
it is a creative time.
You know, it's such a like, oh my God, I can barely go on. And also I'm having a lot of creative energy and wanting to
There,
dance and
yeah.
write and
At
cry.
least if you allow yourself to tap into that, it can be that.
Yes.
Um Also, I think there's a little bit of fun in the, like, being really sad and just kind of, for me, it's my typical just kind of moping around with my dog, eating my little hot Cheetos and watching shitty reality TV. Like,
Oh, that sounds so fun.
in that space, I am feeling heartbreak.
Camille, I have to point out this little bird to you. Never mind. I'm sorry. I have this cool tree outside my yard or outside my window, and this little tiny nugget green bird just landed.
I see it. It's really
He's
cute.
so cute. He's so cute. Or she, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway.
I love her. Maybe she's feeling heartbreak.
Yeah, she's like, I want to listen.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really, really hard though to stay
keep your
open.
heart open.
It really is. And it's okay if for a minute you have some protective barriers come up because there is nothing scarier. It's like everything in your body when you're going through heartbreak wants to turn on to protect you. So this is where, things like obviously if you ever followed a single pop star's story, it's like they broke up with this person and then became a raging alcoholic and heroin addict. It's like that's because you want to be away from that feeling so bad that you'll kind of do anything to mask it. And so staying open really looks like just feeling what you're feeling. Feeling what you're feeling and not rushing yourself. I think that's the main component of it.
Yeah. There is also a component. There's a unique distinction between, like, staying distracted and masking stuff with different experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you are just thinking, okay, I'm going to be a little lazier, do whatever normal tasks I have, and then just lay in bed and I don't know, scroll social media. You just kind of go into this like little hermit phase. Maybe you're spending time with friends. Maybe
Okay.
you're going out, I don't know. There's a difference between that where you're still feeling, but you're kind of just, your behaviors have shifted a little bit to where if you're going through heartbreak and then you're like immediately seeking other people to date, you're going on a million dates, you're drinking a shitload,
Yeah.
I don't, do you know what I'm
Oh
getting
my God.
at?
I remember I had like one of my exes, we had a friend go through a breakup and he's like, well, let's go out, man. Like immediately wanting to get this guy laid. And I just remember being like, ew, I hate that behavior. Like I felt so, I wanted to judge him so hard. But for some people, I don't know. I mean, that's never been my way to deal with it. But I do know people who just go from relationship to relationship because it feels better than, first of all, maybe because that's the option for them. Like it
Yeah.
just pops up.
There
And
are those experiences where you're like dating someone for a long time, you break up, and all of a sudden somebody meets the love of their life.
totally,
I feel like everybody sees that.
that totally happens.
Yeah.
I know it does.
I know it does
For
too.
me, it was never, that was just not my path. I always had kind of quite a bit of time between like serious relationships.
Me too. I've spent about a year in between
Yeah.
each of I dated someone for 2.5 years and kind of my high school sweetheart. 3.5 years for my college sweetheart. Did you know we dated that
Jeez.
long?
That's wild.
Uh-huh. And then 3 years with this one. It's weird that like little 3-year mark. But I
Whoa.
spent a year in between both of those. That's why
Yeah.
when I was just reflecting on the months with my divorce, I'm like, oh my God, I have already been going through a breakup for 6 months. That feels crazy.
Whoa.
I'm like nowhere close to being ready for love.
Dang. Dang. Yeah. Shit, man.
Shit, man, too. That's tough. Okay.
Well, I actually wanted to talk about moving through other emotions too. Because I feel like in order to
Mm,
stay open, you have to try to be honest with yourself about what phase you're in. And it can be really confusing if you get other people involved really fast. Like if you're truly going through heartbreak and it's not more of one of those relieving breakups, you know, those where like the
different,
person's kind
yeah.
of shitty, but you're relieved.
Yeah, or if it's like a mutual breakup and you're like, yeah, we're kind of just more roommates, man.
Yeah.
Gotta go. And then
Yeah.
you're like still super open. That's different.
Yeah, it's different. But if it's like a knockdown, the blender kind of breakup,
The blender.
where your heart's in a blender.
Yeah.
Wanna put a tender heart in a blender, wanna spin around to a beautiful
Oblivion.
oblivion. You know what I mean?
That's such a good song.
Wanna put a tender heart in a blender.
Heart in a blender.
Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly what it is.
Heart in a blender breakup.
Yeah, if it's a heart in a blender breakup, allowing yourself to just move through the phases of it, if I'm just a big fan of rage expression with yourself, like putting on, if it needs to be heavy metal music or like some kind of music that you can move your body to, and when you're feeling angry, try to just let yourself feel that. Don't drink it away or distract yourself. See if you can just let that come up and then move on through your day.
Yeah.
If you're feeling sad, allow yourself to cry. So many people, I mean, it sounds so obvious when you're going through heartbreak, but a lot of people have a really hard time crying. And
Mm-hmm.
if you know that you're feeling heartbroken, but you're having a really hard time crying, I would seek support on that, seek
Yeah.
support in why you, because to cry is a very vulnerable thing. So if you're really struggling with vulnerability, I would reach out for help on that or look up how to be more vulnerable
Yeah.
which is with yourself.
Yeah, it is a vulnerability thing. It's a
Yeah,
lot of healing on the early end of life, I think, when we're going through a breakup, because you can really tell where you struggle with holding in certain emotions.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so just feeling your emotions, I feel like is really important.
Yeah. What did it feel like for you after, like, when you were ready for love again? What did it feel like? Did you know? Was there a moment when you're like, I think I'm ready for love? Or were you kind of just in those? You were sort of doing a lot of freaky situationships.
I was doing freaky situationships. I was also doing a lot of psychedelics during that
Yeah.
time. And I was really hell bent on knowing myself. I didn't have language for what was happening, but that's what it was. Is I was just in this like
You're like, who
strip
the fuck
back,
am I?
unlearn,
Yeah.
what's going on phase. Um, that's a hard question for me to answer because I knew my capacity for love because of how much I loved Shane as my friend. Like,
Yeah.
I knew all of a sudden, it's like something about him broke me open, and
Mm,
I couldn't I reflect on it now to this day, and it's like, had Shane not showed me the man that he was through friendship, like, I didn't realize how much distrust I had for men and
mm,
how much rage I had toward them. Like, basically, the whole episode we talked about last time, How to Stop Hating Men, was like what I needed to do in order to find love again. Because I
mm,
was really pissed off at the
mm.
patriarchy. I felt very fooled by men.
Yeah.
Like, people that said they loved me, but I didn't feel that,
Yeah.
and then a lot of distrust with myself for like, why do I keep picking relationships like this that are really
Mm,
complex and like, v- I don't know, just extremely confusing for me. Like, why
mm.
can't it just be simple,
Yeah.
And Shane came into my life in that January or whatever.
Mhm.
And like through my friendship with him that truly was so platonic, my heart just started opening to love. And I also had a new friend group. I was doing MDMA. Like,
Yeah, your heart was really
my
opening.
heart was starting to open. I was starting to listen to more music. I was dancing constantly in my house. I put up
Mhm.
a, pole in my living room, remember?
Yes.
And I was just totally like listening to music and just letting my heart open. And that I really needed to do that work. If you haven't been listening to the podcast for long, or maybe if this is your first time or you're kind of hopping around through episodes, I think it's important to say that that was a huge part of my journey, was learning about what the heart even was to me. Like, if you listen to our How Psychedelics Changed Our Lives episode, I talk
Yeah.
a lot about my heart and my ego, and I had just built up so much, so many walls that were just so confusing to even understand. And so
Yeah.
through the help of psychedelics, I felt like I really was able to come into union with my heart instead of
Mm.
it being this like far away thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that that's your journey because, of course, we're totally opposite.
Yeah.
Like, my heart is so open. It
Yeah.
always has been.
Yeah.
And my problem has been my personal needs and boundaries.
Mhm.
Like, I always can see the best in
Mhm.
somebody and I want to help them grow so much instead of like recognizing that I need my growth too.
Mm.
So that's been a total transition. It's going to be so funny seeing what happens in this dating phase for me
Yeah.
in this new form. I feel like a completely different person than I was 3 years ago.
Oh my god, I'm so scared for your dating phase. I'm excited for it, but I'm just
Lauren
so
and Shane
scared.
are panicked about my dating phase basically.
Well, it's so funny because I'm just thinking like, our this season of our podcast will be over in a couple of episodes, and I'm just like, are you going to be dating in our next season? Like, what are you going to be doing?
Oh my god,
And it's
probably.
just a little bit scary because right now Camille is like we're like marsupials, Camille's just in my little
I'm
pouch. I
in her
love you so
pouch. I'm her
much.
baby
Yeah,
kangaroo.
you're my baby kangaroo. And so having you with me and having Rudy with me, like, if you're going on dates and like having sex. I can't stand it. I'm so scared.
I'm so scared.
I need to open my heart to
be
your
scared. Yeah, it's okay to be scared. I have been really scared about like am I gonna do it with somebody?
Oh my God, are you gonna do it?
I'm gonna have to eventually have sex again.
That is gonna be so crazy.
It's gonna be wild.
Like to hear about your sexcapades, that's what I'm gonna be hearing about.
Oh, I know. I also we're kind of bouncing around, which I think is fun. I love episodes like this. I kind of want to talk about dating apps because they're scary.
Oh yeah. Okay,
But
let's talk
dating
about
in your 20s, I actually feel like it's a really good option.
I mean, I met my husband on a dating app.
Yeah. I don't know how that couldn't be an option. Like especially okay, think about how weird it is about me dating again now that I like don't party at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just in a totally different phase of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I do party. I go out every once in a while, but like not really.
Yeah. Like our dad
Not
was here and our
really.
dad's a total party boy. And he
Yeah.
wanted to like turn up. And Camille and I were both just like, we'll have 2 drinks.
Yeah,
like
I'll
we
have a
can't.
water.
Yeah. I'll have a water, but make it look like a drink.
Yeah. Give me a sparkling.
Yeah. Make it
Make it look
sparkling.
like a gin and tonic.
Yeah. Bring me a little olive.
Yeah. Throw a couple olives in there.
Can I have an olive and one of those tasty cherries?
Okay. Yeah. So dating apps are going to be interesting. It's hard to represent yourself in a freaking app.
Jeez, I
'Cause
think
I
it's so
created
easy.
No. Maybe you're
It's
just
so easy for me.
I do not do well with communicating like that.
I remember when you were dating, you had your dating apps before you were married.
Before Michael. Well,
and
I
would
better
look at her.
now.
I just remember looking at your DMs and it'd be like, hey, so what's up? Like,
No. It's not that. It's just I'm not good at small talk.
You're so cute.
I'm a total oversharer and I just want to go get a coffee or like a dinner with you right away because I feel like I'm already going to be able to tell.
Right. You are so cute, Camille. I just want to say here on live television that anybody who gets to date you, I just feel like they're so lucky. I want to have a sign be standing outside of the restaurant with a big poster that's just like, you are the luckiest man alive because you are just the coolest. I would die to marry you. In another lifetime, I probably did. I'm so in love with you.
Orly.
God.
That's so sweet.
You're just the best.
Well, thank you. It's hard to show that you're the best on a dating app.
That's why you just have to know that whoever is supposed to come to you will just know that you're the best.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just so weird. Like I connected with so many people on dating apps and stuff, and Shane and I ended up meeting on Hinge, you know?
It is so funny that you met there.
I just can't believe it. It's like the part of my dating story that I never share.
I know. What actually
so
somebody
funny.
asked the other day and I'm like, yeah, they met on Hinge. And then I'm like, that feels so weird to say.
Yeah.
Because then you were platonic friends for so long.
Yeah. We were friends for so long.
Yeah.
And also it was strange because we had the same friend group in college and just never met.
That's so weird.
Like the same really close friends. We were like going to the same functions and stuff.
That is
going to the same gym. Like we were passing ships in the night. I probably did meet him and just don't remember.
Dude, that is the craziest thing to me ever.
Yeah, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I always like to think about if we had met then, would we be together? And the answer is probably no.
The answer is no. You weren't each other's type.
No.
Yeah. So another thing on dating in your 20s is it can be really hard to not put pressure on like thinking every single person's going to be your husband.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah. And I feel like it's really important to go on a healing journey to like understand your needs and your boundaries before you go into dating.
Yeah.
When we're going through a heartbreak, you have to go through this space of healing and figuring out what you want because otherwise you're just going to end up in another relationship. Like obviously all the other ones you've had ended for a reason. You're just going to keep repeating patterns.
Yeah.
Unless you figure out how to set needs and boundaries because especially as you're getting older into that like 30s space and like wanting to have, if you're wanting to have kids, it can be really nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, this is going to be my husband before you even meet the guy.
Oh my God, that was so me. I was so embarrassing. I would literally be
Yeah.
thinking everybody could be my husband because
I
I was
know.
so scared that I wouldn't eventually find him.
I know.
It was horrible.
Well, what can we do about it?
I think we just have to get real with ourselves and
You
just
have to get real.
really look on paper, like just because this person does some good moves in bed, like really look at, could you imagine yourself going on a walk with your grandmother and this person? Like, could you imagine yourself making
Raising a
dinner with this
kid.
person or like raising a kid with this person? Like, really try to go into it in a present way. Because if you're
Yeah.
future projecting, again, you're not present, it's not doing you any good.
And you're skipping the signs. And I will just say,
Skipping the red flags,
yeah,
baby.
like marriage is no joke.
Yeah.
I have now been in a marriage.
Whoa.
Yeah. And you have to be, you and your partner need to be ready to make consistent efforts towards your love.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't happen, it's not going to work. So make sure you're wanting to put in effort. Make sure they're willing to put in effort. And you know what? There's really no way to tell if that's going to last forever. So again, it's even after you find a person you think is fantastic, checking in over and over to make sure it's still feeling good.
Yeah, and I feel like having talks with your partner too about if it's still feeling good. Like, how are we feeling about our relationship? Am I doing the most for you? Are you doing the most for me? I mean, geez, Shane and I talk about our relationship constantly.
Yeah.
And we're still so new, you know. I would never be like, this is my advice from
authority.
the happiest couple on earth. Like, I know that we're new.
Yeah.
But it's still like we talk about a relationship a lot. Like, how are we feeling? Is it good? How can we adjust? You know, how are you doing? How am I doing? I mean, we're like, we
Yeah.
talk about it all the time. I just
Yeah.
don't want to assume ever again.
Yeah. So stop skipping the red flags.
Yeah, stop that.
It just gets worse over time.
Yeah.
They're
And then
not-
you're older.
It's not going to change. Then you're older.
And now you're pissed because you're going through a breakup again.
Yeah.
So stop it.
You have no time to waste.
Like, really ask yourself, am I having a big time blast with this person? Like, that is, for me, number fucking one on my list.
Yeah.
Am I genuinely laughing and having the best time ever? And are they, like, feeding my soul? Do I feel like I can laugh with them and eat with them and, like, have sex with them for the rest of my life? Like, does it feel so good almost all of the time?
The rest of your life.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that's what I believe in as love.
So do I. I
really
swear,
do.
if Shane and I end up
No,
not
don't
together,
say.
I will die. I swear, I will. Yes, I will. I'm not joking. Like, just end it for me.
I will.
I'm not kidding. I don't care. I'm not one of those cool, hyper independent women anymore. I'm not. I need him. I love him. I want him forever. Like, that is seriously the truth.
Lauren, non-attachment. What are we practicing?
No, I'm attached to Shane. And that's okay.
No, I'm practicing attachment with one
thing, Shane.
Shane Hanner.
Yeah, Shane Hanner. I love him so much.
Okay, so those red flags for me. What one thing is that I will be looking for is, am I the one bringing all the fun into the relationship?
Oh, yeah.
You know, because you can convince yourself that you're having a lot of fun with somebody and you're like doing the most. And then if you stop putting in any effort, like, are you still having a lot of fun and doing the most? Like, if you sort of fall back in conversation and let them take over, are you still having a good conversation, or are you the one carrying it the whole time?
Yeah, or are they stupid?
Yeah, are they stupid?
Yeah.
I have really taken that, like, sort of off the list of things that needs to be good. Or in a first date, like, oh, we had such great conversation. It's like, yeah, but I know I can have a good conversation with anybody.
Yes.
I'm serious. I can carry a conversation, but it's like, what was the conversation about? Like, why was I interested in him? Not was he interested in me?
Yes.
Yeah, that is the kicker.
Oh my God.
People are like, oh my God, was he liking my outfit? Did he think I was fun? Well, did you think he was fun? Because it looked like he maybe had a lot of money, but he sucks.
Yeah, he sucks. It looks like he's really boring, and now you're getting
Really
married.
boring.
Yeah, and now it's scary. So I don't know.
Now
Just
it's scary.
Yeah. Like, figure it out. That is too much.
It's too much.
It can be so scary. That is such an important topic. Is like, are you into him? Are you into him? Not about, does he like you so much? Do you like him so much? And obviously this is really important because you also want to be with people who genuinely love you and like you. That's like, with that there as well. But it's also like, we do get so hyper focused on, oh, they like me so much, or, oh no, they're not liking me enough, so I'm going to be doing all of the best things that I can possibly do because I'm obsessed with how they're perceiving me.
Yeah, or being obsessed with the potential of someone.
Yeah. That can't be good.
You cannot date or marry on potential.
No.
Action
or,
is
you know what?
Action is so much more promising than words.
But the good news is that no matter what you do, let's say that you did marry on potential and you're listening to this and you're like, holy shit, my life is over. Or you are
trust me, been there.
Whoops. Or you are, panicked about making the right choice, being with the right guy. The good news is that as long as you come back to yourself, all the answers you need already lie within you. You don't have to overanalyze on, am I with the right person? Am I dating the right guy? How do I know? What will I do? What do I need? Blah, 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 blah. If you can come back home to you and kind of let go of some of those questions that are constantly coming up and just be present, it's hard, but it's possible.
It's hard.
You can trust that exactly what's meant for you will be in your orbit. You can really trust that.
Yeah.
I give you permission.
You have the permission. I'll give you just some examples of that I'm having to lean into the trust right now with is like, in my past life, someone being married before would have been a red flag for me.
Okay.
I don't know why. Just if someone was like divorced, it was like not, I don't know. I would probably just be like, oh.
Yeah, you wanted to maybe be the first marriage.
Yeah. Now that's going to be me, someone who has been divorced.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I had to kind of flip it and think that the person I'm meant to be with is not going to care about an identity I once had. Like a label that I once had.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to honor whatever that piece of my life was and just allow it to be what it was and still want me as their wife.
Totally.
Like, it's not like every single person is going to be like, ew, you were divorced? Next.
Yeah.
Maybe some people will.
Yeah.
Fine. They're not meant for me anyways.
Yeah.
But that's scary.
I understand. I had a different thing that was happening to me during my last relationship is that I had a really robust, wild sex past. I also had a really shaved head. Like, I don't know. There were like things that all of a sudden when I was single, I was a little bit more self-conscious about. Like, oh my God, like, what if the person that was supposed to be my person isn't because they like hair or they don't like that I've done all this swinger stuff, or they don't like that I'm open on social media, about my sex life. That was really scary for me because I thought about that if I had met someone, if I met a guy who was kind of like, I don't know, a recluse, just somebody that was doing whatever they wanted and, I don't know, had like a weird haircut and wore lipstick. I'm not sure. But I was just nervous about it.
Oh, I know. There are certain factors that, like, when you are married or in a relationship, it's okay because the person loves you.
Yes.
Then when you're single, you're like, wait, is this weird?
Right. Wait,
is
like, this weird?
On a single playing field, am I now the weird one?
Right. Am I now, have I put myself into this particular
box
area of dating?
Yeah.
And, that just ended up being totally ridiculous. But
yeah, but just over and over, just telling yourself that who is meant for you won't pass you by.
Yeah.
The person who's going to fall in love with you is not someone who's going to say, well, we could be in love, but you have no hair.
But I don't like that. And you've been divorced.
Yeah.
I love that you are getting divorced. Not because I love divorce, but I just feel like it really shows that you put your all into something. Like, you got married so much for love. You really put as much effort as you could in, tried your best, and you married a guy who was wonderful when you got married, you know? Like, I loved him so much too. And so there's so much there. And then, you know, it's part of your movie is like, wow, that's really sad that it ended. And you can express that you were really sad.
Yeah, I can. It doesn't feel like I need to hold anything back. It's like,
ultimately, it's a breakup.
Yeah,
with papers involved.
It's a breakup with papers.
Yeah.
I was committed to that person for life, but even if it's a long, like if people are like, yeah, I dated someone for 6 years, I'm like, that's a long fucking time. That's longer than my marriage.
Yeah.
You know, like ultimately you're dating to be married to the person.
Yeah.
So whether you get married or not, you were dating and you were super, super in love, you know? It just feels like mine had a little bit more gusto and now it came to a close.
Yeah. I want to say probably most people are dating to get married, but there is a section of people who are dating for no advancement.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you know, in polyamorous relationships and stuff, it is kind of interesting because they a lot of times, you know, just dating to enjoy the person is there.
Yeah.
Because you're not dating for this goal of like, we're going to be married, which I always find fascinating.
Yeah,
I like it.
I do too.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
That's really nice for them to do that. I will be dating to marry.
Yeah, I am dating
After
to
I've
marry.
been married, you kind of are just like, no, I really know what I'm looking for. I don't have time for bullshit. Like, if you're sliding in my DMs with something stupid, I'm not responding.
Yeah, oh my God, this is something that I want to share with the Wolfpack that is so embarrassing for me, but I'm just going to say it here live. You know the level of idiots that you were entertaining by the texts that you'll get from them like 6 months later, 7 months later. I was a big time phone number deleter. Like, if I was dating and they just grossed me out for whatever reason, I just delete their message, like delete the number. I just don't have it in my phone. I don't have like a bunch of guys in my phone that I used to talk to.
Yeah.
They're just not there. And so over time, like, I've obviously been off the dating game for like over a year now. And it's just so disgusting, the kind of messages that I'll get. Let me just say a couple from random numbers, but I know that I've probably entertained them before because they're acting like we're close.
Or maybe done sex with them.
Maybe, I don't know. But it will just be like HYD ? How you doing?
Okay.
Hello ... Like, from different number. I know that these people, like, I haven't spoken to them, you know, in a year and a half probably, because I wasn't dating really.
No.
And like, just so gross. Not like, hey, Lauren, I've been thinking about you. You really were something so special.
Like, it was literally no effort then, no effort now.
No effort then, no effort now. Just like, sex ? What's up tonight? And I'm just like, what? Like, what gives you the fucking right? But I was giving them the right.
You were giving them the right.
And I'm just so happy to have advanced beyond that for what I need from people. Because
so if you want to not be grossed out by someone, here's what you do. You talk to them, then you block them.
Yes.
6 months.
Yes.
Take them off the block list.
Yes.
See how they text you.
See
if you still are into that, or if you're just kind of grossed out.
Yeah, because I can tell you that I'm so grossed out, and I'm so happy to not have their numbers, so I don't even have to cringe knowing, like, was it this guy or that guy?
But you sort of know, like area code. You know, you're just like, ugh.
No, I have no idea. Some of them I've looked at the area code, like, who is this? But I don't. It'll be like some random place in California, and I'm like, I really don't know.
Dude, that is just so funny to me.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay. This episode has been a rant.
Well, We said we're going to start
But I
doing
feel
more
really
like this.
happy.
I felt scared coming in, and I feel happy going out.
Yeah, me too. I was scared because I'm still going through heartbreak.
I know. You know what? I'm going through heartbreak about your relationship
Yeah.
in a different way, but I really, wasn't expecting that. He was
It's been
my
a
brother.
whirlwind. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. So
I wrote that down on our notes. I'm heartbroken too.
I'm heartbroken too.
It's hard.
No, it is really hard. So I just want to send love to anyone who's going through heartbreak. And this episode is what heartbreak feels like. It's ups, it's downs.
It's confusing.
It's reflection, it's projection. It's like so much. There's no way to classify a heartbreak, but everybody knows what it feels like, which is so interesting.
And I would like to bring it back to, I just almost said Barbra Streisand, but it's not Barbra Streisand. It's Bette Midler. To leave us all with this. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. If you close up, if you shut yourself out from love, you can't dance the dance of life. So come on, let's get a little heartbroken. Ow, ow, ow.